blood from an enlightened being, drawing blood from a Buddha. So that's the bad news. I'm rushing it. They say the result of the fourth one, which is creating a split in the Sangha, you will be forced to experience your next life in the lower self for a Parkelpa. And a Parkelpa is what I wanted to share with you about the cycles of life. A Parkelpa is the time that it takes for a planetary system in the Abhidharma Kosha to go from existence to supernova and explosion. So, and I think I can't remember, 60 of them makes one Parkelpa. So that's one Kelpa. A Parkelpa is that's a countless eon. Okay, also known as a bloody long time. Let's just say that. Okay. There's a couple of characteristics for that fourth one, creating a split. Technically, we can't do that one because it can only occur at the time of the Buddha. So there are 6 prerequisites for when they happen. First of all, let's talk about the profile of a person who could do that one, creating a split in these kind of beings who are bringing wisdom into your world, right? So if you're observing yourself separating people that are bringing wisdom into your world, obviously the result will be there is zero wisdom in your world, karmically speaking. Yeah. So there's a whole profile on what type of person. They must be an ordained monk. They must be charismatic and attract lots of people. They must show to have good morality. They have a good intellect, so they understand the workings, and they are intentionally lying to create a false teaching that divides people, to say that's not true, that's true, and then you see a fight between what was previously a joined community. You see this a lot nowadays, and there's descriptions in the Abhidharma that we are in the time of degeneration where these things occur. The reason I want to talk about them is because this happens in every kind of spiritual community. It happens with anybody that is trying to do virtue. The Tibetans believe that it's demons coming at you that are forcing you to behave in ways to split people up. And if you think about the laws of karma, cause and effect, when you plant a seed, a small seed creates a great result. Then even the slightest disagreement between us people trying to figure this stuff out, the slightest dislike for each other, and then acting upon that is the actual seed for this. You say, yes, you can't do this one, the fourth one, you could probably kill your mum, don't do it. Your dad, don't do it. Yeah? Even if you saw a great spiritual person, don't do it. Yeah? It would just force you to have the equal and opposite experience. You'll never... well, the reason that killing your mother and father are bad are 2 reasons. That they provide you with the physical matter that gives you a body to have an experience of life in the first place. It doesn't matter if they're a good mum or a bad dad. The fact that they provided the basic building blocks for who you are is enough virtue, is enough to be eternally grateful for them. So seeing yourself destroy that thing which created you is like destroying yourself. Yeah. So that's why it's such a terrible deed. The other one, so there's 2, it applies for both. It's you see yourself rejected, you reject that mother or father or the ahar or whatever, and then you see yourself eliminating it. So both those karmas are in your mind. You have a complete rejection of, in the case of splitting up the monks, the Dharmakaya, the embodiment of enlightenment, of your parents, the embodiment of you. Yeah? So you have a rejection for it initially, and then you see yourself cutting it off and completing it. So
you're also wasting what could be a Buddha.
Correct. Any harm of any human life is that. Yeah, correct. Thank you. Let me just, I'm rushing. I want to give you all the content and all the special ones. So the reason the number 4 is important, I wanted to spend some time thinking, whenever you're trying to do goodness, whenever you're trying to figure it out, as hard as it is in a world that tells you you can't figure it out, or you should do what I say, or you should follow the path of getting a career and a job and you make babies and be happy. And we are all forever told what kind of lives we have. If you have a religious upbringing, you tend to fear erring outside that, yeah? And seeing anybody who is genuinely, open-heartedly trying to understand the nature of this world so they could fix it, positive intent, yeah? Whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God, it makes no difference. If you have this energy in you and you want to fix the world, and you see a tiny split, you want to split people up who are trying to have this view, this destroys your capacity to get insight into this world. Do you see why it's such a horrible thing? The tiniest separation between, oh, I don't like her, so I'm going to talk bad about her behind her back, and then just that subtlety is enough to begin this horrible split in spiritual communities. And I don't mean spiritual communities and you must follow the leader. I mean spiritual communities of hearts connected to the nature of what is this thing we're living. How do we make this perfect? It's available to you. The Indra's net. How do I see the diamond inside each and every being I lock eyes with, including the one that's appearing as a silly monk, forcing me to give him money, including that. How do I do that with wisdom? And you could give him money or not give him money, but how does your mind stay without splitting? To bring people together then. To bring people together that are fighting, people together that are in opposing views, is the highest kindness you could do in this world. Yeah? And see yourself in all of them. That, I'm afraid I missed out the 6 periods when a schism can happen. Actually, I'll tell you right now. They can only happen at the beginning of, they cannot happen at the beginning of a wheel. They cannot happen in the first 12 years of a Buddhist teaching. A true Buddha in a Buddhist system like we live right now. I'm giving you too much cryptic information.
I'm just a little confused. The schism is, which one are we talking about?
Number 4, splitting a community of monks and nuns.
Oh, this is when that cannot happen.
It cannot happen in the first of all, we can't do that one. We can't commit that one of the 5 deeds. Yeah, okay. We can commit killing your dad, killing your mum, killing an ahar, and we can't even do the last one, drawing blood from a Buddha. Yeah, because Buddha's 2,500 years ago. Yeah, so for number 4, creating a schism means creating a schism of his sangha, of the beings that were alive then. So we can't do that one. But we can do the seed that sees us become that thing. You see? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I have to teach you for the final, what are the 6 periods in which the 4th one can happen. Okay. Yeah? And number 1 is it cannot happen in the first 12 years of the Buddhist teaching. Okay. Because like us, new Buddhist practitioners or new practitioners into any insight, we're so happy. We're like getting new information. It's all lovely. We don't bother about fighting for each other. I'm going to keep, at some point, I'm going to start saying things that you've already heard. Yeah? For the Buddha, that was 12 years. At some point, we're going to hear same things. And then your posture in your mind about, I already heard that, start thinking about getting new information or consuming more information or not getting the depth of teaching in there. That's the state of mind that begins the schism thinking, to start then judging or comparing, or you see. Mm-hmm. So it can't happen in the first 12 years because everybody's so in bliss with all the new information.
What about if you're comparing different religions or different teachings?
Well, I tried very hard not to disparage the Christian point of view and really force my mind to look at the beauty in it. Can you disparage when you see harm? You must. Can you maintain your mind from creating a schism, creating a separation between people that have the same belief? You must. You must try and bring people to a point of happiness together.
And when you're studying to practice Buddhism, right?
Yeah.
And for first 12 years, you're comparing it. So you're thinking, I've already heard it, but comparing it to different religions, it's pretty much the same schism.
He's talking actually just about a specific time You're talking specifically.
No, but I'm
about-
saying that this. I'm also saying that the seed for planting that idea can happen anytime. And that's why
Right.
I'm comparing
Right.
it to our Dharma center.
Right, but
Or
the
any
12
Dharma
years thing
center.
is actually kind of like a technical
Yeah, it's a
side.
technicality to
Technical
number
side
4.
note
Yeah.
about when the
Okay.
Buddha was
Yeah.
alive.
Sorry, I see where you were going. Apologies if I'm forcing it to be confusing because I'm rushing. I want to give you the download. It cannot happen at the end of a Buddha cycle. So when the Buddha passes away, they call him going to parinirvana, which basically means, from his point of view, he's not dead. From the practitioner's point of view, the Buddha's past is gone. What it means is he removes his emanation body from the planet because there's not enough people with enough karma to see that. That's from his point of view. It can't happen at that time because everybody is so overwhelmed with sadness. Yeah? It can only happen once there begins to be some faults in the teaching, where people start teaching each other and start adding interpretations of their own. That's why it's so important to rely on text and pass on the transmission. Even if I don't understand all of it, I have to give you what I got and give you and try not to pass on my doubts. It can only happen once this is beautiful, once the appearance of the great pair come. And this means when the two students, Shariputra and Madhyagava, I can't remember, the two main students of the Buddha, when they appear in a Sangha or in a group, only then can this occur, because they will fix the schism within 24 hours. This is all in the Abhidhamma question. Yeah? And not after he's passed on, and until there's monastic residences. Why all this story? The story is, I've tested you on it in the exam, so you think about it in relation to your practice. We're on Karma Course 5. You have understanding of the 3 states of mind, the 3 principal paths. You have understanding of the importance of meditating. You have some understanding on emptiness, and now you have some depth understanding on karma. You must practice. You must have some kind of practice, some formal practice of your own. They'll all be different. Yeah? You must have some kind of, what do I do with this information? And how do I apply it to my world? And is my world transforming? And as each of us do this, hold it like a precious seedling. You know, and we don't know which stage we're at in developing our understanding of the world. But you know that we have in common. Each of us are holding a most precious, sun-thirsty seed of enlightenment that turns you into an ultimate being, and your neighbor, your next person. Hold each other precious. Doesn't matter which tradition they come from. If they're genuinely, beautifully practicing in a way to get free from suffering and help others in the world be free from suffering, you're on the right track. You can't be stomping on other people's precious growth of their Dharma life, of their insight life. So the reason I'm talking about the schism in the Sangha is because it can happen in any group of people that are trying to do this beautiful thing. It's hard to do this beautiful thing on this planet because we're taught to go and get the next flavor. You know, let's go now and get lost in a bit of TV, and let's go now and get lost in a new device, or did Apple come out with their new this, and did you see their new that? And our minds are forever distracted until we're gone, completely gone. And then what happens when you're gone? What's you when you're gone? And according to this, you are nothing but the imprints of all the things that you did, said, and thought. So do good, do lovely things. That's how you create your world. Yeah? So I encourage you to do that. Sorry, I'm 8 minutes late. Let's dedicate it with full intent. Say, thank you, baby Jesus. And go. No, but I mean, whatever strings your music, whatever you vibe on, make that come alive and push it forward. So here we go. Dedicate it. Sashi.
Sashi.
Ukir Jishin Metotram Riralling Shin Impadi Sange Shindu Mite Uargi Drokun Namda Shinla Juparsho Hidan Guru Ratna Mandala Kamniyatayami Digawoku Sunan Yeshe Soso Shin Sunan Yeshe Junwei Dampa Kuni Topar Sho. And if you still have your teacher at the crown of your head, shrink them a little more and let them enter the crown of your head and let them float down to the level of your heart. Make a home for them there and carry them until see you next week. Same bat channel, same. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry it got technical and quick. Appreciate you coming in. Practice.
Thank you for teaching. Thank you.
I just want to